Good morning, ladies. I see some confused faces. I'm going to start again. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. A bit less confusion. Good morning, guys. Maybe that already sparked some reflection or some guesses on what I'm going to talk about today. I'm here today to talk to you about gender-inclusive language. What does gender-inclusive language in general mean? How can we define it? Gender-inclusive language is language that does not necessarily tries to reproduce the existing stereotypes and traditional values that we connect to the use of pronouns in our language. But gender-inclusive language is language that leaves possibilities. It's language that leaves open on how the person that carries out a certain task, that does a specific thing, can look like, how they can live their lives, which pronouns they might use. It's language that leaves possibilities open for the person to be themselves. And I know that this is a very controversial topic. I know that this might seem like a trend to some people. Some people might think, oh, this is a really woke topic, and that it's a burden for people because people say, oh, but we're already doing enough. We talked about equality before. Oh, some people might say we already reached equality. But our language actually reflects reality. Language can create reality. And this is why today I would like to lead you through some thought experiments and give you some points at hand to persuade you to adapt your language to be more gender inclusive. So the first experiment that I would like to do with you is that I want to tell you a story. My house caught fire and the fireman came and saved me. What kind of a person do you imagine the fireman to look like? You imagine a strong man, because I said fireman, not firefighter, that saved me from my burning house. But what if this person was actually not a man but a woman, and what if that person was actually 150 tall, had really long blonde hair? That's not what we think of, and that already reflects how much the words we use reflect the reality that we think of when we talk. This was just one example, but actually studies show that when you give children a piece of paper and a pen and you ask them to draw people of a specific job, people that carry out a specific task, it depends on the actual word that you say, which gender the child draws the person. So if I tell a child to draw a fireman, the child will draw a man fighting fire. If I tell a child to draw a policeman, even though these words claim through the use of the generic masculine to be gender inclusive and to not be excluding people of any gender, a child will draw a man if the word says so. If instead I tell a child to draw a singer, a firefighter, as I said, somebody who works for the police, a child will draw the person that they would like to see. They try to identify with that person. They might even draw themselves. This is what studies show, and this is what highlights the role that language creates, the role that language plays in creating and shaping our own realities. Studies have also shown that 1 out of 5 people have questioned their own gender identity. So it's not just about including people in general, but also including individual identities. If people question if they actually identify with the pronouns that were assigned to them at birth, that means that there is a process going on, an individual process of thought that should be respected. And if we want to include everyone in our society, we also need to include these 1 out of 5 people, which in all sum up to be a very big group, as you can imagine. Also, there are some practical measures that should be really convincing to you in order to think more and speak more gender inclusively, which are that even in workplaces, when we create a safe space that makes people feel part of something and that includes everyone everyone, no matter which gender they identify with, no matter what gender was assigned to them, no matter if they actually identify with any gender. If people feel included, they can be efficient, they can have a good environment, they can help increase the efficiency and productivity of a company, for example. In any field, this is fitting. It's not about economy itself, it's about politics. In every single field of life, in every single aspect of our realities, we have individuals that we're working with, and we have individuals that we're relying on, and individuals that we need to respect. And that is something that we can do through seeing them and through addressing them as the people they are. Lastly, I would also like to mention the aspect, or circle back to this whole topic of reality, because as we all know, our world is changing. Our world is becoming more diverse, our world is becoming more interconnected through globalization, processes of digitalization. We are more connected than ever. And this not new diversity, but this new visibility of diversity is something that should also be reflected in our language. If we still use the same language and the same words and expressions that we have been taught thousands of years ago, then this does not at all reflect the world we're living in today. So what I would like to address and what I would like to ask you is to make a small step. Consider who you are speaking to. This can be a super basic thing. If you talk to someone and they tell you about their new friend, and you don't know the gender of that person, maybe don't suggest the gender, but just say they, them, which is a very, very neutral pronoun that you could use. But also, if you tell a story, really think about, was it a fireman that really saved me, or was it a firefighter? So this is just some examples, some ideas of how you can make use of gender inclusive language, but it's a small step, and I see that it's something that is hard, and I see that it's something that is of course tiring, and that takes a lot of work, and that also can be really exhausting at times because it's something that we're not used to, maybe people around us don't do it, and then you ask yourself, well, if the people around me, if the people that I share my classrooms with, the people I talk to on a daily basis, if they don't do it, why should I? But in each small step counts. If we want to create a world that is united in diversity, a world that respects everyone, regardless of their gender, of how they identify as, regardless of how they grew up, if we want to create a world that stands together, we need to make a small step every day.